Glenfiddich, the world's most awarded depth is great, and I think the
But
non-elevated.
the depth doesn't move the needle.
No, it doesn't. No,
The depth doesn't move the needle.
No, it doesn't move the needle, and I don't want to say they're not important, but
they're not as important. They're not.
But in the current threat that they face,
Right.
those guys I just labeled you off
are the ones that they need to parade out. I get it. But that's what I'm saying is that from a sponsor, that's where it's a slippery slope. From the PGA Tour and a sponsorship perspective, how do you sell to a non-elevated event, hey, we're going to give you the same product that we're giving these events?
Because the core fan's watching anyway on TV. Like the core fan, like those numbers have decreased a little bit. They're going to watch anyway. The core fan is going to watch the PGA. They're watching anyway.
Okay, but
those are the guys showing up anyway at the 3M Open.
Did you watch last week when they were in Japan?
No.
Okay. Are you going to watch this week?
Yeah.
Why?
I mean,
because the better field.
Yeah.
You're a core fan.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't watch much last week just because I'm a little fatigued.
Right, but you follow. I followed along enough to know that Ricky was winning.
I watched. Trust me, I watched the other events too. But I'm just fatigued. Like,
what's the last event you really watched?
Well, I went out to Vegas, so I watched that.
Okay. But you also work in the industry. But if you didn't, that's my point. But this week you're going to watch.
But
Why?
I'm a core fan.
Because the field is good this week.
Great. Yeah.
Right. So and this is not an elevated event, which is, this could be one of the last non-elevated events that has a really good field.
But this is what we can expect with a full field, an elevated event, right? Which is what the PGA Tour should be hanging their banner on, rather than getting more tournaments with watered down field. That's my point. It's just a difference in mindset from a business perspective. And I just think the threat of LIV, in hindsight, looking back, wasn't evaluated to the point where you probably could have been moving in this direction sooner.
I see what you're saying, but there's no way Jay and the powers that be at the tour ever thought in a million years somebody's going to come out of the woodwork with $1 billion to throw at golf with no return on investment, and this is what they're going to do. I mean, that just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
I mean, it just really doesn't happen, but
here we are.
It's a really, really tough situation. Listen, we had Chris Goddard up on the podcast. I think he's a great player coming he played at Oklahoma. He's now playing on the tour. If Chris Goddard was playing in an event, that doesn't move the needle. He's a great player.
Yeah.
He's really going to be good.
Yeah.
But until he climbs up the ladder to that upper echelon, that doesn't move the needle, and that doesn't make you watch on TV, and it's not going to bring sponsorship dollars, and it's not going to sell tickets on site.
I think there's an opportunity here with the non-elevated to do some terrific storytelling and some terrific hype for the next people coming up.
I don't disagree with that. However, you know as well as I do, you've been around this game enough, that when there are events that they thought Tiger could play, and then I'm not comparing anybody to Tiger Woods, but I'm saying that when there were events that it's a possibility he's in the field, and then he committed, ticket sales went through the roof. They had to bring in more security. They had to bring in more everything, okay? If you have an event that JT and Scheffler and Rory and Xander and all these guys are going to play, you're going to get a much bigger field, whether it's on site or whether it's on television, than you are at a B event where these guys don't play. And that, unfortunately, it feels like...
But they're not playing anyway in those events.
But it feels like we're going to get to a point where, Travis, we're saying, this week, hey, this is one of the big events this week.
Yeah. I think that's where we're going.
And what else? What's next week? Yeah. I don't want to get to that.
I don't like that. I don't like the feel of that either.
But that's where we're going.
But that is the reality of professional golf right
now.
That's
why I'm not going to say I don't. I'm not going to say I don't like it. I just don't love it. But at the same time, I'm one of those people where I believe if somebody asks you what you want for dinner and you don't know, and then somebody suggests something, you say, I don't want that, you're just being a jackass. So I don't have an answer on what the answer is. I just don't love this. I don't know that there's a better way to do it.
Yeah.
I just see it from a perspective of we're getting to a point where everybody's going to play these events, and then, I might play that event because it's in my hometown. Well, it's close. I've won before.
You're going to have to qualify for those events, the elevated events.
Right, but the big boys will.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like it's not that these guys they're not going to be able to play in it, like the second tier, right?
I mean, like the John Deere Classic.
The second tier in the Corn Ferry, maybe the second tier in the Corn Ferry feels like maybe it's going to kind of morph together to some degree. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
But look, man, I still think there's storytelling that can be told. You know, like get creative with your storytelling and your production with these events. Look, I mean, the 3M Open, the John Deere Classic, like they've kind of had their niche, and I trust me, as a core fan, I watch those, I respect those, but they've always been second tier tournaments on the PGA Tour.
They have
always, and the top players have never played in those events, so it's not like the fields are going to really change all that much anyway. You know?
Yeah, but somebody like the Honda has suffered. You remember when the Honda had a really good field?
There's going to be some
the Honda's
casualties.
suffering,
yeah.
And the Honda is suffering. Not only the Honda suffered long before this, because of their placement on the schedule, coming from LA and the week before Bay Hill, especially when Arnie was around. The Honda has suffered, and that's what
you can't have it all. It's like it'd be like asking NFL players, like, "Hey, let's play 46 weeks." Like,
yeah, you can't.
I mean, you can't play every year. You can't. Like, at some point, it's just too much.
And I agree with the storytelling. You got to find a way to tell the story of who is the next Brooks Koepka, who is the next Dustin Johnson, who is the next
Tom Kim's coming up here.
Right.
Who's the next?
That's what we have to do, and that's where they're going to have to lean on that and hope that will move the needle in some way, shape, or form.
Here comes Carl Yuan. Here comes Davis Thompson from another next Georgia player. Like, there's that storytelling that can be told. Here they come, the next superstar. Let's build him up. Here he comes. Here he's going to make it. He's going to be in the next elevated.
Yeah, and then guess what? When he makes it, he's not going to play that event anymore.
He will in the elevated,
but he won't play that event. That's that.
But
these
they don't
events,
play it anyway.
Right, but these events.
Spieth played in the John Deere, and I didn't play it anymore.
These events feel like we're here to build you up, so they feel almost like DP World Tour events.
But it's what they are
like
anyway.
It's a ladder. It's a step ladder.
It's what they are anyway.
We're going to build you up so you can go play these other events.
It's what they are anyway, and you know why I think that most of them will continue to sign up and pay is because the core demographics are not going anywhere. Like, they're still going to watch on TV.
Oh no, I will. I will.
They're still going to watch.
I'm not somebody.
They're still going to watch.
Definitely don't judge me.
Yeah,
I mean, I'll watch. I'll watch anybody play golf. I mean, that doesn't matter.
So I think. Look, I think in the end there are going to be some casualties. I think there's going to be some feelings hurt.
Yeah. I get it.
But I think in the end, I don't know. In the end, I don't know. I don't
either.
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't have all the answers. I just know how I feel about what's going on.
Because the 10,000-pound gorilla, unfortunately, from a financial standpoint, is LIV. And look, LIV can. I mean, look, they can continue to put the bullet in this.
They can, or they could go away in 3 years.
If they were like, look, okay, here comes another billion, and this is what we're going to do now. You don't want our guys in the major championship? Right. Here's where this goes back to managing your risk, right? Okay, how big of a risk is this? It's a big risk. Like, if I'm the major championships, I'm staying above the fray. I'm staying above it.
Okay.
And these guys got to get in because
they got to get in on world ranking points.
Okay, so now, you know what's going to happen, right? So official world golf ranking, we got to figure out how to adapt. And this is a new landscape, and this and that. Like, this is managing risk, right? Like we're going back to, and you got to take the risk real. And so if they come in and say, no, we don't want these guys, all right, and so all of a sudden they're like, we're going to do a tournament right there next to you, and it's going to be the biggest disruptor you've ever seen in your entire life, right? Is it going to hurt? Is it going to be a distraction? Of course it is, to some degree.
It is, but they've only got their 54 guys. They're not adding anybody else. Like,
I know I mean, maybe the majors are above that. I don't know the answer.
Yeah.
I would just be shocked, Froggy, if the majors go into this and look, man, they got to be careful here. If they don't want it in this collusion aspect, they got to be just a touchy.
Well, the U.S. Open, I think they kind of did a little bit draw the line in the sand where they're like, listen, we're, and even the Open Championship last year, they said we're going to do it now.
It's going to get ugly, really ugly, if the majors are like, nope, and the official World Golf Rankings are like, all right, these are our policies now, which I respect. And then, but as they look ahead to the next year and beyond,
right,
if they're like, yeah, we're really not going to adapt at all, like, I mean, at that point, it's going to get really ugly.
I think for the PGA Tour's sake, they have to hope and pray that LIV doesn't get world golf ranking points.
Of course.
If they do, it changes the whole landscape.
Yeah. Changes the whole landscape.
Everything.
and the majors, them getting in the majors. If those dominoes fall, like it's gonna be a real bumpy ride.
That's definitely the next thing.
It's fascinating, man. Like to sit here and talk about it. It's great for business. So we better wrap it up. Thank you for being here. Stripe Show podcast on a Wednesday in the new studio. A little instruction tomorrow. We'll be back at you next week. Haymaker Coffee Company was established in 2021 to create the best coffee to fuel the underdogs who perseveres, who hustles, and have the give-it-all mentality to achieve their American dream. Haymaker Coffee only roasts top quality, specialty grade coffee beans, resulting in brews that satisfies those who demand every drop from their coffee and day. If you work hard, run hard, fight hard, and play hard, we have your coffee right here.